you go and look at the 4% who know that they're building freedom or have already accomplished freedom, in every single case, that freedom is created out of income that their investments produce. The income allows you to go down to the shop and buy bread. The income allows you to go down and pay for school fees. The income allows you to go out and have a dinner. Net worth doesn't.
Yeah, right.
Growth doesn't. So if you are focusing on growth, at some point you have to turn that into income. If you aren't aware of that, there's a really good chance you'll make the wrong decision on which asset to buy, because you're not aware of the costs, for example, of changing it around. Or if you're not aware that if you do buy, for example, a rental property, that it might only produce under 3% yield. Yet there are very many other methods that can produce 2 to 3 times that, which means you only need half or a third of the net worth to achieve freedom. So the 4% aren't buying with growth being the primary consideration. The 96 are, generally because they've been sold something.
Because I guess property in that way is something that our parents were told to do, and we assume that that's the golden ticket. But what's interesting to what you said, especially what I pick up on, is it's got to turn into money at some point. But a lot of the time, we're thinking that that's at retirement age, and that's so you've spent your entire life working for a sale that's at such a small point of your life. And it's fascinating that you're saying that there's about a mind shift about making the money work for your life now. Is that right?
Well, I'll give you a rough example. Yes, that's exactly right. But the example generally is the person who sold you that that's a good investment is long gone by the time your retirement age actually hits. So they're not around there to check that the investment that you got is actually producing the outcome. So what does this mean? If you looked, for example, we see a lot of people negative gearing into property. Now, I'm not here saying that that's good or bad. It's got different purposes and different times for different people. But so many people put themselves unnecessarily under stress, and they actually weaken their financial position by investing in something that takes money out of their pocket every month. And if they, for example, held an investment property over 10 years and then looked at how much that cost of that investment property took out of their pocket each of those 10 years, and then looked at the purchase cost and the stamp duty, and then the selling cost, they would be surprised how little they actually made. I've got a friend of mine that I was talking to late last year who had a property out in just one of the middle class suburbs, an investment property. He bought it for $400,000, sold it for $800,000 10 years later. Fantastic, $400,000 return. But when you looked at what he actually made out of it when we took all the costs out, he averaged a little over $4,000 a year, really.
Wow.
Now, if he just paid himself first and saved that money and didn't take unnecessary risk with large debts and didn't take unnecessary risk of properties being unrented for periods of time, etc., but just put those in boring range of investments, he would almost certainly have outstripped that growth and be in a far better cash flow position and far closer to freedom. He didn't need to take that degree of risk.